Hello, hello, hello. How are you doing? I am so excited. So finally we get to do the book review of Disco Matanga. I know it's been a long time coming because actually nikiangalia from the autobiography when I was given this book by the one and only uh, Alexander. It was actually on February. Yes, so here we are. I'm excited to do this. And let's just go straight. I hope you've actually watched the snippet. I did a snippet. Kitambo kidogo, not really kitambo, just to add some taste to this thing. Ama ni vipi? So hey, let us start off with Disco Matanga. First of all, this is a collection of short stories, and also we have a bonus, a poem written by the one and only Alexander Nderitu. You should follow him across all social media platforms and get to interact with him more. So let's start off with Disco Matanga. And of course, I also have my notes here. Kwa sababu lazima pia, you when you doing this, you have to have your notes. Ndio staki niwape story za jaba. Anyway, let's start off with Disco Matanga. So we have huyu mtu ambaye ni marehemu tumuite hivyo, the late Pius Okembo, who has actually been in the finance industry and has even worked in South Sudan. But he's quite a promiscuous man because we actually find that he has been having a lot of affairs, though he's married, and they wanaachana na bibi yake because ay jamani, this infidelity is too much. So the main lady here is Lilian Wangari, who is a mother to two, a mother of two, that is Sharon and Dennis, and she's also married to this Pius, okay? And akona beshte hapa anaitwa Akinyi, who also lives in around wanaishi around the sides of South Sea. How old were you when you knew that South Sea is actually South Compton? If I'm not butchering that name, Compton, I don't know. But how old were you? For me, I was these years old when I read this book. It's when I realized. Anyway, so there is also Bishte hapa ya Lilian. They were college. They used to be in the same college, but then he seemed to be a chase of skirts, yule mwenye akiona tu skirt inatembea aya tuende nayo. But he also gets married to his baby mama, but they break up after a while. And also sasa unaona pia Lilian naye wali separate na bwanake, but now the husband is dead. And there's a time actually they met. I think the Musembi akampeleka kwa ofisi yake because he was working around that area, and hey, mambo ilitendeka. But anyway, Musumbi turns up kwa sababu unajua there's something inasumbua Lilian sana, that as much as the husband was, but pia ilikuwa imefika haya, if you cheat on me, I cheat on you, tunarudiana ama tunasameheana ama tunaachana. Yeah, you cheat on me, I cheat on you. So walikuwa wamefikishana at that point. There's something that is troubling her because as much as she's expected to go there, or as much as she's expected to go to the funeral and do all rituals, but then at the same time, how is it to her? Because she's expected that atainheritiwa, right? But for her, she didn't even love the husband in the first place by the time alikuwa nakufa. So they plan on how she can escape, and immediately siku actually also Akinyi guides her in one or two because pia amepoteza bwanake. So hiyo siku ya burial, immediately wamemaliza, she takes Sharon and through Musumbi comes through, and seems like sometimes you can find love in grieving or whatever. But anyway, let's move on to our next story, which is Love Parade. So we have two people here. There's actually interracial, if I will say, a kind of story. So we have Nithi and Pretty. These are siblings, okay? So Pretty is the older one, she's 19, and Nithi ni kasina kadogo, and you can see them across the streets where they are Indians, and wameenda mtoto mdogo anataka kununulia ice cream, you know? So older siblings utulize kina sisi. So kuna kijana hapa anajiaminia vibaya sana, anaitwa Simon Kamau. Simon ako 24, okay? Na huyu kijana anafanya kazi ya anaishi Limuru, anafanya kazi ya broilers, anazileta wapi? Huku City Market, right? I think ni busy zenye amechapa for a minute, and di kijana anajiaminia sana. In fact anapeleka pretty, unajua ni kasichana kamefungiwa, unajua tusichana tu indi manze, they don't interact as much, but it's not like, okay, like they are conservative for, yeah, I will say they're conservative in nature. So same hapa anajiaminia, but pretty is just a nice girl, but probably hasn't interacted so much with the people, because she actually seems to know more about the wildlife in Nairobi National Park, which by the way we visited some time back with a very special friend of mine, and I loved it. It's been ages. The last time I was there, nilikuwa tu katoto, and now going back as an adult, it's great. Anyway, anapeleka pretty kwa machuom different, anapeleka kama bezi ya Mutura. Siku mio siku pretty manzia lilala fiti hapo. Unajua Mutura nilisikia the best time to sell Mutura is saa 2 usiku, during when there's darkness, because Mutura can do you things. Anyway, Mutura is, who doesn't know Mutura? Anyway, he also takes her to, it's Mokimo, which is Irio, that is an African, Kikuyu to be specific, traditional food, okay? And they actually fall in love quite fast. And I think Pretty is doing, she's in medical school first year, but she happens to be engaged to a family friend. You know, the way they will arrange like because we are having transactions going on, so our children have to marry each other. So she's engaged to Kapoor, okay? Yeah, Kapoor is anafanya mambo ipi. Kapoor is also, I'll just say around, but I'm engaged to Kapoor, okay? Yeah, he works also in an Indian bank. So huyu Kapoor ako 25, and siku ya mwisho anamwambia, unajuaje, nimekupenda sana. Alright, nilikupenda sana ila dunia. Anyway, kamwambia, unajuaje, nimekupenda sana, I've really enjoyed this company, but then kuna mtu mwenye mimi, my parents had planned that I should be married to, so yeah, take this necklace and remember me with it. My uncle gave me as a souvenir from India, so just keep it for me, okay? And there it is. Now tukuje 20 years later. We have a kamrembo hapa, kasichana karembo kanaitwa Lakshmi Kapoor. We have seen her in other stories actually. And there's also a kijana hapa anaitwa Munene, right? So Munene is a writer. Pia yako, okay, Lakshmi first of all, she's a reporter. And Munene pia ako kwa the mainstream industry, reporting in news, because he's also a writer, right? And he's also in the Nairobi Spectator scene, yeah. And we have Kagiri. Kagiri sasa, but I had a classmate called Dennis Kagiri back in Raima. Oh God, nostalgic feeling. Anyway, so Kagiri hapa ni cameraman. Kijana kona dready, you know, sisi wasi wa sanaa, mnajua watu wa dready wako very, anyway, wanatubamba. So Kagiri anataka kuwa matchman, ama nitangu aje, anataka connect these two. But anyway, Munene gets through to Lakshmi and they get married. They fall in love, okay? So fast forward, Lakshmi sees a necklace that Munene has, and she asks him. And actually, initially, when Lakshmi was almost getting married, they're close with the mom, so alikuwa amemuuliza mambo ya this intermarriage, and I think the mom mentioned about her having been in love with a certain person who was black, but the parents couldn't agree because the interracial marriages were not open to that time. So she asks him, this necklace, where did you get it from? He's like, okay, actually, it belonged to my father who died like 20 years ago. Okay, what was the name of your father? Oh, okay. Turns out, was it Sam? Yes, Simon Kamau is the father to Munene, okay? And Lakshmi is the daughter to Pretty. So hawa wawili walikuwa na love affair. I mean, walikuwa lovers. So it's just a complete circle where the children, actually Simon died when Munene was young. Yeah, he died in a road accident. So I mean, I think immediately too after, hata sidhani alikuwa amesahau Pretty sana, akaishia, but gifts, souvenirs always last. Anyway, let us go to Born in Africa. So tuko na kijana hapa. I will call him the manager, Otieno from Utalii College, and we have kasichana hapa Komboka. Kasichana ambako ni karembo, kasichana kanapenda makeup. Why would you be putting on long dresses? Mbona unavaa nguo mrefu? Show us your legs, our legs. And kuna Glenn hapa mzungu flani. Let me pick my book, please. Thank you. Glenn Mzungu hapa, he is a driver to a certain princess. Okay, so we have a princess hapa. She was born in Africa, but she is actually a royalty. She met with her husband, I think in Naivasha, because the parents were running a ranch in Naivasha. I'm assuming probably it will be illusional ama inaitwaje ile biblical allusion or religion ile kuchukua something. I don't know if it's Del Monte in this context, but something of the sort. So this lady, Agnetha, she's a British, of course, from the colonial sides, and also married to a prince. And driver hapa akina Kombox and Otieno thinks he's the perfect James Bond, like the real life James Bond, because of the way he carries himself, the way he walks around, the way he talks. And of course, this lady here, Agnetha, she wants to take off a break. And unajua royalties, when they want to take off a break, they want to hide themselves from the face of other men. So she feels like this place where akina Komboka are running is the best place where she can chill and everything. And they actually set off quick fast. They become friends quick fast. And Otieno is also having a huge mad crush on Komboka. Okay? And I mean, as they get along, because Agnetha really likes Komboka at some point, but they are all like, wanakoma beshte wote wanne. So there's a time Kombox is in her room in an ampatia, some attire. Will I call it a deck or an attire from the Ethiopian? Actually, it was suggested to her by Empress, who is actually the wife to the late Emperor Haile Selassie, Jah Rastafari. Yeah, what was the name? Empress Menin, yes. Yes, so hapa kuna pia journalist fulani anaitwa Tom Gareth anaingia akiwa second week, the second week of their stay, and he's a journalist who is actually begging to or asking or requesting to interview the princess, no matter, okay, I know the circumstances or the, I mean, najua unapumzika, but can I please do this? Because also she is running donations, and for him, he happens to have an autistic son, okay, so she gets to agree to get the interview done because pia namfilia in some way. Anyway, so as I said, she met her hubby in Naivasha. Fast forward, turns out Agnetha amekuja huku kote because she is actually pregnant and she wants to take some time off before even informing her husband. And when she's leaving, she tells Komboka, you know what? I'll actually remember you. And I hope that the world helps us to meet again. And seems like this. And she actually informs them, oh, you and Otieno actually are a perfect match, so you should try it. And yeah, you can bet they definitely tried. Let's see what we got here. And then let us go to the writer. So tuko na kasichana hapa ka university student called Shiko. Mbisikia mambo za kina Shiko. Our firstborn is called Shiko, by the way. I have sisters called Shiko. Several of them. Akona kaniba hapa. She's a 4th year student who is in KU. Ati KU kuna masomo kweli. Akona text tu hapo. Kasichana ambako kako. She's a free spirit, I will say. Then we have Wambua wa Kinoti. This is a dude who is a writer, actually. And he is suffering from a disease, benign essential trauma. I hope I didn't butcher that name, but ni condition yenye anatetemeka in. He can't control it. He just has those moments, and he noticed it is getting worse from when he was 20 to 30, and he noticed that he couldn't do mundane stuff. I mean, something like just opening the lock to your door, something like kupasha chakula, something like taking that spoon, taking it, feeding yourself. Can you imagine? I mean, that's when he realized that it's getting worse. And amecrashia the neighbor, actually, Shiko. And he's actually doing great. But there's also this guy who is we'll call him a narcissistic person, Chris Ondeki, who has a lawyer and who is Washara. She's quite a young lady hivi, kasichana kam, and I'm so, because allegedly he used a text from the article of this dude and didn't quote, but he actually did quote, but I think the problem is that he got payment for it. And he's like, why? Pia, I understand on his ground, but Pia, she's kind of flirting with this. Okay, okay, men, trust men to always be men. So he stands on his ground and he's like, you know what? Okay, if you don't want me to ever text you, I will not. Or like take a paragraph of Ondeki's work and put it in my work, no problem. But you can just come here and shove your stuff to my face and everything. Actually, Ondeki drops the charges. And kumbuka, Wambua is actually a dude who is doing good. In fact, he's been invited to the University of Dar es Salaam, College of Humanities. Yeah, the University of Dar es Salaam. And unajua, he goes and delivers a good speech. And hapa, by the way, kijana, hata akikunywa, he puts his glass, especially wine glass, half full to avoid spillage, because remember, he's shaking. Although it's whiskey, he doesn't like, he likes his glasses big, because of course tot glass itamwagika yote. So I mean, but him and Shiko quite develop some feeling, and the rest is history, as Alexander Nderitu will probably tell us. By the river Gura, we sat down and wept. We have a kasichana hapa, one boy who is 19 to 20. Just finished high school na wamepelekwa ushago. Lazima watu wende ushago. What do you mean unabaki Nairobi ukifanya nini? Anyway, there's also an old friend of his. Na kwanza kabla tufike hapa, ako na brother Mwas ka kijana spoiled brat, who by the way, she thinks that he's overweight kwa sababu analishwa junk, but the parents are also overweight, so anyway, but he's a spoiled brat. But of course akona kautamu kake in some way, but annoying. So akona old friend hapa who is actually imekuwa siku nyingi kama hawajakutana, and it's good to see him again. He's called Waroi. And by the way, this Kachile, akona an ex called Kipchumba. Wameachana na maisha ina happen, right? Wakona kagari hapo, they can afford a red car forest hapa, babake na mamake, and they have a 2-bedroom wooden bungalow hapo South Sea, unajua. So mamake ni mtu religious sana, na wakona auntie yake ambaye anaitwa Beth, but babake ni mtu ambaye pia akona okay, he got his own things going on, because actually from the look of things, it's like he has been having an affair with a cashier. So the mom is also, I mean, the family is also kind of shaky. And so, well, Waroi wanakutana. There's a time she decides to take a walk by the river, and then she bumps into her old friend Waroi, and they sit and they start. I mean, it's good to see him again. He's actually working as an accountant at a sawmill, and she's like, oh my goodness, you're doing good. I mean, you're already doing something, not like us who just wake up satano and sleep sijui ngapi, because we have all the time to ourselves. And Waroi will be going to study at UOA Natural Science, and kasichana ketu hapa katakuwa kadenda Institute of Mass Communication, a school I wished I could have gone to, but anyway, we're living art life anyway. So and okay, the end justifies the means, I will say. Yeah, kasichana ketu kadenda kusoma film and video production. She's a talented girl. And there's something called the green lodging. Come and tell us, what do you think the green lodging is? But anyway, to cut the long story short, they are all excited because they're going to be together in Nairobi. But not only that, there's a green lodging, and by the river Gora, things happened. Things went down. Let's go to our 6th story, the wolf you feed. So we have students here from Marcus Garvey Paramount University, okay? Our lady here is a law undergraduate, actually. And we have the boyfriend who is now called Keter, lakini jina nickname ni General Makins, kwa sababu inaonekana anateremsha kuteremsha. But I feel nasikia ile kitu genje sa ile noma yenye inatesa mtaa, huku ma college nasikia campus life sa ile ma county ndo zinasteremsha. If you know, you know. Anyway, huyu kijana anafanya hawa ni computer science kind of people, and also we have Python. These are actually for their students, okay. Akona roommate wake hapa anaitwa Rumi, who is actually an English lit student, okay. And beshti yake hapa kuna anaitwa Thunder. Msichana anaitwa Thunder because of her thunderous thighs. Hey, thick thighs, some lies, yeah? Christina kanapenda weed cookies, and she has insatiable sex appetite. But anyway, all in all, but this girl has past traumas because actually her dad used to rape her or mistreat her sexually abuse her when she was a kid, and she feels like, as much as she has connections with like Shupavu, which is the family dog, but there's a lot in the wolf you feed. I mean, kikulacho kingoni mwako. That's what we would say. Yeah, let us go to Of Men and Lions. Kuna kijana hapa amelandi Kizito. Is it Kizito? Yeah, Kizito. KDF amelandi hapa na parachute. The man who comes from heaven, okay? And we have a general hapa. He's working for KWS and anasikia thunder. So, or somebody like he sees because it's in the forest and amekuja na madogi zake. And Kizito is actually very concerned because the dogs can sniff the blood because I think he hurt himself and they can do you mad things, okay? So ako ready, but then Duncan Mutugi turns up and he is the husband to Kanini. He's a incredibly nice guy. Na ako na kasichana hapa, kasichana karembo. Ay, Kagweria. Yeah, Kagweria. Yeah. She's 22. She's studying science in agriculture at Methodist University, okay? And Kizito amefanya vitu kadhaa, including having a degree at JKUAT, and he has done business in IT, alright? So, hapa Mutugi anamwambia, you know what, you can crash in my place because hata akona dislocated his shoulder, because actually Kagweria ndiye anampaka hiyo inaitwaje ile deep heat, right? And we have our lady here who we actually had focused on, Lakshmi Kapoor, who pia anafanya ripoti, anaongelea kuhusu what is happening, because there has been a lot of things happening around the country, and pia lazima achukuliwe na troop yake for them to head back because he is in the heart of Nairobi. But fast forward, he actually falls in love with Kagweria, and he's like, you know what, wakati wanaachana, okay, this a time they try to make out, but Kagweria is like, you know what, I don't think I'm ready. Furthermore, Namwambia, they're actually two guys who are really interested in me. They might be sweet as son. So when he's leaving, he's like, I mean, will you ever give me your love, or do you prefer these other guys instead? And he leaves, and he's like, you know what, I think actually I might come back with Samira as a gift to your father, because actually I think I would like to marry you. I don't care, but the question is, as much as this girl anamwambia kwa 50-50, is it worth traveling miles back for this, and you're not sure kama utapendwa ama hutapendwa? But anyway, love has developed there, Of Men and Lions. Let us go to Express from Asmara. Tukona kasichana hapa, kasichana karembo. Oh my goodness, have you seen the Ethiopians? And they're beautiful. Here, actually, I want to focus more on the poetry side, because it's a poetic stories combined. So we have here Delina. Our lady Appa is Delina. She is quite a lady. She's a very beautiful lady, okay? And we have Sabhat. Okay, let me go straight to the point. So there is a lot that has been happening, and they need to migrate as soon as possible, okay? And akona brother yake mwenye ako Yemen, he went and developed or started a restaurant, and he's doing good, okay? But the fastest way is not to get official documents, so they decide to run away by boat in the morning. But they get caught, not even in the morning, like usiku wanashikwa, and they taken back, but the situation in their place is getting worse. Their dad is no longer there, so the mom and the uncle back in Kenya, they're communicating, okay? And that is how she finds herself in Kenya, right? And she's actually studying music at the Kenya National Theatre, where we actually did our play last week, Money Made Man Mad, October edition. Acha tukutane tena December. Yeah, actually Alexander also has done theater things, so I love theater. Theater brings you alive. Anyway, tuko na kijana hapa anaitwa X Factor, and this is a spoken word artist, and nani anabambika sana na yeye because he's actually doing good, and she has not really done poetry before. Actually, there's also a former slam queen who is Akinyi the artivist, who is actually an open bisexual, na anamwambia msichana wetu. In fact, she connects our lady with a dude hapa, kijana kutoka Ethiopia, and his name is Jamal, if I'm not, yeah, Jamal, exactly, from Addis Ababa, okay? And by the way, X Factor, they get married at the end of the day. And X Factor, anawatengenezea ka poem hapa. It's what I'm looking for. But anyway, let's see. Nice one. So, acha tufanye one piece because of time, but you can check out the story. Actually, if you follow Alexander Nderitu, you will get the details to get this Matanga. Also, I believe he has his books at Nura Bookstore. So, they're great. They are actually the leading bookstore selling Kenyan books in Kenya. Or okay, they're the best bookstore actually. So, hapa ni X Factor, okay? So, hii ni Love in Time of COVID by X Factor. Ati nilikuwa kwa club na crew yangu ya kina Kevo, Karis na Kama. Na kama kawaida kulikuwa kumejaa mayangs. Na DJ alikuwa anacheza ngoma za mtaa. Kidogo nikacheki Melanin Queen fulani ameketi solo. Mrembo kuruka, ngozi rangi ya wino. Yani kama Lupita, na mimi siku sita nikasema, your chest resembles two full moons on the same night. Yani inavutia. Mimi ni rapa kama Future. Si ukam kwangu leo nikuonyeshe. Ni nani alinherit fimbo ya Nyayo. Dema alicheka kidogo alafu akasema, Aki, you're so funny. I'm Crystal from Kahawa, but currently studying in China. Alipotaja China, hey, fimbo yangu iligeuka kamba. Nilianza kutafuta kuwe exit signs kama gold digger kitafuta mbaba. To make matters worse, yule mrembo alianza kukohoa papo hapo. Tulitoroka sisi wote. DJ akipitia kwa dirisha. Crystal alibaki peke yake akisema, I'm just having a cold and you guys are scrambling like rats. Who does that? Kutoka nje nikashoot, Kenya, the Democratic Republic of China. Imeshindwa na nzige na unexpect tutawezana na corona. See you after 2 weeks quarantine, my dear. Ati vipi? Go finish up that story and see what is there. Let us go to the paper moon. And tuko na kasichana hapa washeki. In fact, I think we have addressed that story in a body made for sin where kuna our lady from the other side who is living with Mbabas actually in Tanzania, and kuna beshte yake from Kenya who comes and kuna venye analeta competition noma sana. Anyway, now this lady is washeke who brother yake amekuwa amefanya run a page called Wachai. Yeah, so he's actually called Morioki, the chai master, who is 27, a blogger. Na anatafutwa na watu, so he has been missing for a minute. So his old friend from high school comes and helps him to track this brother of his, okay? Kuna kijana nito, kuna a guy called Kifaru, who is actually the one who they suspect might be behind the disappearance of Chai Master. So kuna kijana yetu hapa ambaye our main character is actually he is in the special forces, okay? Na nasaidia huyu msichana wetu washeke to find the brother, to trace the brother. But anampenda huyo binti wetu. In fact anatoka kutoka Nairobi anaenda Keno. By the way, Keno is hapo kabla ufike Sagana on your way to Karatina, where I have lived, and Alexander Nderitu has a history with Nyeri, Edward Nyeri. So wanakutananga huko in a certain room hapo mali our sister is our binti hapa anaishi kwa lodging. And siku ya kwenda because the lady anafeel pia ile fake iko threatened, so she decides to go to Tanzania, like I said, Rehema hosts her and anampea our kijana a whole kiss, okay? And it's like the ransom because umenifanya kazi poa acha nikupe kimonjo kikisi hivi. But our kijana is questioning because will I ever get a chance to be loved by you? And I don't think, I'm not sure if he does because tunasikia story huku babazi wa Rehema ni kama pia anataka huyu msichana wetu washeke. So I don't know how our 23-year-old turns out. Like, labda Alexander anaweza katuambia. Anyway, to our last story, we have Love and Rockets. And you have our two ladies hapa, Chloe and Nekesa. Okay, these are girls who are actually living good life at the park. They are receptionist actually. Na hata ikianza, they are watching the news with the president Onyango ambaye ana hostio na mtu ambaye anaitwa Lynch Held, who actually ni kama hapendi ku make Africans like the Africans ana wakae vibaya or something. So our lady here is actually working at Gigiri and she's driving a 36DD. Okay, she's driving a really good car and she's living in Kilimani, okay? Na yeye ni kasichana ambaye ni ka big size kidogo. These two are actually big size. She never felt comfortable in her 36DD kind of size bra. But unajua beshte yake anamwambia, you know what girl, you gotta leave. And this actually beshte yake ni yule msichana mwenye she's always ready. If you wanna give it to me, please give it to me. So kuna hapa Adesanya who is kijana kutoka Nigeria kwa like how much is money I can spend on you. And let me tell you, hey, vitu zina flow hapa, no wahala, right? Hey, let me tell you. And there's just something, I'm actually looking at this story hapa and the whole story about this kind of thing. But anyway, the story is there's a story where she says during my lunch break, because she Adesanya has to go back to fly and I'm dropped kwa airport waiting for him to come back, right? During my lunch break, I drive Adesanya to Jomo Kenyatta International Airport in my black Land Cruiser. Most ladies, even moneyed ones, prefer small ladylike cars, but I like my cars the way I like my men. Big, black, and strong. What a wonderful way to finish our book review. I will not spoil. I don't want it to be a spoiler. So Somebody Loves You from Africa. Please go read that poem. That's the bonus poem. Someone in Africa loves you. It's quite a really nice poem. So look for this book and tell us what you think about it. My name is Vivian Kabono. I go as Vivy Cabs across all social media platforms. You can follow me across everywhere. Vivy space KABZ. So this is a book done by Alexander Nderitu, Disco Matanga. You can get it across all social media platforms also. You can communicate to him at Alexander Nderitu. And you can also get his books at Nuria Bookstore, which is at the bazaar. So you can check it out. Anyway, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. You can also see our other book reviews on my YouTube channel, Vivy space KABZ, Vivy Cabs, spreading love and positivity. Thank you so much. Much blessings.